Hi, my name is Samantha Kreltszheim, and welcome to my presentation on ghrelin. Today I will be speaking about production of ghrelin, what regulates ghrelin release, the site of action and cell signaling, and a disease state where ghrelin function is altered. So, what is ghrelin? Ghrelin consists of 28 amino acid residues and is a stomach-derived orexigenic hormone, which means it increases appetite in humans. It is also commonly known as the hunger hormone. It is mainly secreted by oxyntic glands of the gastric fundus mucosa and small amounts by the duodenum and hypothalamus. Ghrelin is secreted in the upper gastrointestinal tract and mainly produced in the stomach and a small amount in the small intestines, stomach, and brain. Ghrelin exerts its effects by regulating feeding behaviours into the central nervous system, also known as the CNS. Ghrelin is bundled into vesicles and ultimately released into the blood. As you can see in this diagram, ghrelin is produced in the stomach and then resulting in the following when in a fasted state. I will speak about this diagram more in the next slide. The central nervous system integrates the nutrient and hormonal signals from the periphery, thereby reflecting the current energy status of the body. This information is transformed into appropriate neural responses that adapt energy homeostasis to the current requirements of the body. In the fed state, leptin is released by the adipose tissue and exerts a potent anorexigenic effect by stimulating hypothalamus pro-opiomelanocortin neurons. Leptin activity is counteracted by ghrelin, a hormone mainly released by the gastric mucosa during food deprivation and prior to meals. Ghrelin activates neuropeptide Y and a Gauty-related peptide neurons to stimulate feeding and weight gain. Ghrelin is a multifaceted gut hormone, meaning that it interacts with other hormonal systems, such as reproduction, not just the one hormonal system. Ghrelin is secreted from adipose tissue and the gastrointestinal tract and has been found to have different effects on many reproductive functions, such as embryo development, hypothalamic pituitary gonadal axis, implantation physiology, and other clinically relevant conditions. It targets these reproductive organs and may act on the central nervous system to start the complex process of puberty and maintain normal reproductive function. As you can see in this diagram, ghrelin interacts with many other hormonal systems. You can have a read for yourself, but to mention a few, it decreases insulin secretion, it protects muscle atrophy, it decreases thermogenesis and stimulates osteoblast proliferation differentiation. A mixture of all of these is what makes ghrelin multifaceted. The hypothalamus is the primary region in the brain that responds to relevant signals from peripheral organs to regulate feeding behaviour. Ghrelin is using intracellular signalling, converting extracellular signals into intracellular responses. Using L-type voltage-gated channels, ghrelin increases free intracellular calcium ions levels in somatotropes. Ghrelin's effect on glucogen secretion is regulated by intracellular calcium flux and phosphorylation of extracellular signal-regulated kinase. Via the MAPK and EPAC pathway, glucogen along with norepinephrine has been shown to stimulate ghrelin secretion in nutrient-deficient conditions, indicating that ghrelin exerts a direct action on porcine GH release and requires the contribution of numerous complex set of independent intracellular signaling pathways. Activation of growth hormone releasing hormone receptor in somatotropes is primarily interconnected to the adenylate cyclase, signaling pathway resulting in CAMP accumulation and activation of protein kinase A, and extracellular calcium entry through the voltage-sensitive calcium channels. PCOS in females is a disease in which ghrelin function is altered. The relationship between ghrelin and NYP is disturbed in the syndrome, at least partially due to the influence by insulin. The ability of ghrelin to increase food intake and body weight is mediated through the stimulation of neuropeptide Y production in the nucleus of the hypothalamus, where it upsets the inhibitory effect shown by leptin and insulin. The syndrome seems to have an individual role on ghrelin levels, which are less than those expected on the basis of a degree of obesity in women. Insulin has been assumed to have an important part in the regulation of ghrelin secretion and feedback. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation on ghrelin.